Hi, it's Fabs and welcome back to A Fab Kitchen. So today we are testing and reviewing our final recipe of Cook, Eat, Repeat by Nigella. So this recipe is actually the recipe that you guys picked on my Instagram story. So if you don't follow me already, it's at A Fab Kitchen. But yes, let's get cooking. Did I tell you what we were making though? So today we are making the lemon and elderflower drizzle cake. Shame. I'm going to start out by preheating my oven to 160 degrees Celsius because I have a fan and lining my pan. I find that by greasing my pan first, the baking paper tends to stick better. I learned this hack on TikTok. By scrunching up your baking paper, it's so much easier to mold it in the areas that you want it to go, and it actually stays there. I definitely made a mess of cutting this, but you get my drift. Next, I started prepping the ingredients. I added butter, lemon zest, and sugar to a bowl and beat them until they were light and fluffy. When I tell you this was messy, I am not kidding. It's going everywhere. Eventually we got there though, and this was the final product. Then we moved on to the dry ingredients. I added plain flour, ground almonds, salt and baking powder to a bowl and gave it a little stir. Then I started to assemble the cake batter. I cracked an egg into the wet ingredients and beat it in until it was smooth. I then poured a third of our dry ingredients into the wet ingredients and did the same. I repeated this step 2 more times and added in the final ingredient, elderflower cordial. Now all that was left to do was to pile it up in the pan, smooth it out and chuck it in the oven. It has officially been 25 minutes and when I say this is so pale, it looks like it has not seen the sun. Honestly, like literally it's proper like jiggling as well. So I put it in for another 10 minutes, but this is ridiculous. Like I've got a fan oven, so I put it on 160 degrees, which she said 160 degrees Celsius if you've got a fan oven. And tell a lie, I didn't put it in for 160 degrees. I put it in at around 170 degrees because I was like, I'm not sure that's gonna cook in time for 25 minutes on 160 degrees Celsius. And boy was I right, I put in 170 degrees Celsius for 25 minutes and it's still not done. Like it was nowhere near done. Like maybe I've got a problem with my oven, but like I'm not sure I do. I think my oven is working perfectly fine. For it to be nowhere near done, this is sus. Not sus, but come on. Whilst we waited an eternity for the cake to bake, we made our little drizzly sauce out of lemon juice and elderflower cordial, then gave it a little stir and it was ready. After 45 minutes, the cake has finally finished cooking and the skewer has come out clean. But oh my gosh, when I say this cake is pale, just you wait. I mean, literally Nigella was like, if after 20 minutes your cake is going a little bit too brown, cover it with some foil. I'm like 45 minutes later, I'm just like, I have the moon. Yo, what happened to my eyeballs? Nah. Sorry. we're gonna power through and we're just gonna drizzle this like elderflowery lemon juicy kind of syrup over it and we're just gonna leave it to cool. And pray it tastes okay. Poke poke. Drizzle drizzle. Yo, actually there was quite a bit of drizzling going on. There was so much sauce, it was ridiculous.
Hi, Danny.
Then we just sprinkled some granulated sugar over it precariously and it was done. Now we're just gonna wait for this to cool down, and when it is cooled down, we're gonna get our munch on. I will see you then. Let's try it. It's not the most pungent of cakes. It does smell really oily though, like really buttery. Too buttery maybe, and you have got like a slight hint of lemon coming through, but let's try it. Let me just say first, very interesting texture. It's like part of it tastes like a cake, part of it feels like cake. I would say maybe the bottom or the top, I don't know, maybe the bottom. but then the top of it is like literally mush. You put it in your mouth and just like literally just that's literally the sound really replicates it. If you try making this cake, like it's just so squishy at the top. I don't even know if you can see this, but it's so squishy. You know what though? It is lovely. Interesting texture, but lovely flavour. I thought that it would be, I don't know, a bit too sweet with all that sugar that's gone in, but it's not actually too sweet, especially with like the sugar sprinkled on top. I thought, oh my gosh, this is gonna be overpowering the sweetness, but it really isn't. It's actually quite nice. It's a mild kind of sweetness. But one thing that I will say is that I can't really taste well, I definitely cannot taste the elderflower, but I can't even really taste the lemon. I thought it was going to be much sharper, the flavour, and I kind of expected that, and I wish it was a bit sharper. I wish more zest went into the actual cake batter, but I can't really taste the elderflower at all. I understand that elderflower as a flavour isn't the strongest, but I really cannot taste it at all. I feel like maybe this would have been better as perhaps maybe using like elderflower extract. That would have been much stronger and it really would have shone through, but as it is at the moment, it's more like a lemon drizzle cake. But let's get on to ratings. In terms of taste, as lovely as this cake is, and for taste alone, I probably would have given it a 5-star, but taking into account texture as well, and the texture was just a bit off. It was super squidgy. I'm going to take off half a star as well. And if this cake had not been marketed as a lemon and elderflower drizzle cake, I probably would have stuck with 4.5, but the fact that they marketed it as an elderflower cake and I could not taste the elderflower at all, I am going to give this a 4-star for taste. Now, in terms of ease of source, the majority of the ingredients you could find, but when it came to the elderflower cordial, I did have to go on a scavenger hunt to find this, and I honestly thought that it'd be one of those ingredients that you would be able to find, but it's elderflower spritzer that you can find very easily, but not elderflower cordial. And the original recipe did also ask for rice flour, but honestly, that was a task and a half. I couldn't really find it anywhere, so I did use plain flour, and that is because she recommended using plain flour as an alternative, and because she did actually state that you can use it as a substitution, then I am going to give this a 4.5 star. I'm only going to deduct half a point just for that elderflower cordial. Now, in terms of difficulty, this was like a super easy recipe to make. It wasn't particularly difficult. The only issue I would say is the fact that she states it should stay in the oven for about 25 minutes, and I ended up cooking it for another 20 minutes on top of that. I even increased the temperature of my oven just so it would cook in a reasonable amount of time. But all the instructions were super easy to follow. It was literally just it taking 45 minutes instead of 25 minutes, but it wasn't too bad. So for difficulty, I am going to give it a 4.5 star. So overall, this dish gets 4.3 stars, which is pretty good, and we're ending on an okay-ish. No, I guess it's over 4, so I'm going to say it's a good note. Thank you so much for watching. Comment below whether you think, after all of these recipes that I have reviewed, whether you think that you may be purchasing this book in the future. But stay tuned for next week, where I will be giving you the entire overview of this cookbook to tell you whether this cookbook is going to help you cook like a pro, or if it's an absolute no. Is this cookbook worth it? Is Nigella actually a good cook? Find out next week. But thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. But for now, peace! Hi, it's Fabs, and welcome back to a noisy kitchen.